What's up, NAZD Rider fans? Welcome back to another episode. We're at my domicile today. Figured it's a good, beautiful April day. I don't think I'm going riding today. I'll give you guys the shop tour, show you what's going on in there. Welcome to the shop. Checking out my ladies. This is Frankie. She's the old Franken Husky. This is the Matchless. That's the Honda. Old Trusty, the XR. What do we got going on in here? This is where most of the magic happens for me. I'm a tinkerer, a professional tinkerer of sorts. It's difficult having a small garage because you have to use your space really wisely. And as you guys can see, there is a lot of stuff packed in here. This is my bench, pretty solid. I built this when I built the garage. I wired in some outlets down here. That's really handy if you're gonna make your own bench. I highly recommend putting multiple outlets. In hindsight, I would have put more. This is my vise. Bessie, can't really see it, but she says Bessie on the side. This thing has served me pretty well. Bench grinder on the other end of the bench. I like to have the vise on one end, grinder on the other. Comes with two grinders, like a coarse and a fine, I think, and I put the wire wheel on there. I like having that to clean up threads. My compressor, this is kind of a cheapy piece of crap single stage, but it works. It just takes like 20 minutes to fill this tank, but if you forget to turn it off, it kicks on in the middle of the night and then the wife yells at you. You have to come out here in the cold in your pajamas and turn the thing off, which kind of stinks. Wall racks with bins. This is one I got recently. Haven't filled up yet. These are full. I used to work at O'Reilly Auto Parts, and before that it was Checker Auto Parts. They took down all the blue pegboard, but anyway, I scored a whole crap ton of blue pegboard. This stuff's awesome. If you can find it and line your garage or line a wall with this stuff and have the pegs, it's fantastic. Most of my bigger power tools up top, skill saw, router, my power sanders, my soldering iron, angle grinders. There's all kinds of stuff up there. This shelf is like exterior wash and wax. This shelf is polishing rags and towels. This shelf is usually open unless I have a project going on. This is where I like to put some of the parts from the project, from that particular project. As you can see, I've got speakers, there's some window channel down here, wipers. This is parts of my 79 C10 that I'm putting back together. Just got her back from paint recently. That's exciting. These are the door panels from the C10. It's my welder. Anyway, toolbox, second toolbox. This I got for free. It was a dent special from the auto parts store, so I mean it works fine, but the drawer doesn't completely close. I don't freaking care. It works fine. It was free. This one I bought. I needed something with multiple drawers to hold all my tools that I've collected over the years. This box was free. Friend was upgrading to a much bigger box, and this was his old deal that he just gave to me. But it rolls, it still works fine. My motto, or one of my mottos, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I am not a fan of spending money if I don't have to. I got a bunch of random stuff on the windowsill I made. Old amp gauge. This is just an antique that I found at a yard sale. Here's some of the gauges that came out of the C10. This is a Toyota cap of sorts I found on a trail. Toyotas, unlike Jeeps, like to fall apart on the trails when you drive them on the rough stuff, and parts tend to fall off. So if you know anybody, I might eBay it, but it's still, it says Toyota. It's kind of cool. I saved it for this guy Cam that I know that's a huge Toyota fan, but maybe he can use it when his jalopy starts to fall apart on the trail. This stuff is called pig mat. These squares tear off of there. It's like a giant roll of awesome paper towels. It's pretty thick. I don't know how well you can see it, but each one of these mats is supposed to absorb something like a quart of oil. They're awesome. So here's some of my woodworking tools. Here's my DeWalt showcase. I'm kind of a DeWalt fanboy. The only reason being is kind of once you buy a power tool or a couple of them, you kind of have to stick with that brand so that you can switch the batteries back and forth. It's critical to have a shop refrigerator. I had an old kegerator that an old roommate had, he bought it with some winnings from the local casino when he was on a roll there, and he just ended up leaving it here, which is great for me. I love free shit. But anyway, that thing crapped out finally. And it wasn't ideal because when I keep 6 packs of beer, soda in my fridge here, or multiple 6 packs, it's nice to have shelves to put them on, obviously, and the kegerator doesn't have shelves. It's just built for 1 keg, so I had made a shelf. But anyway, the rats got in there, the mice, and chewed some wires, and it finally crapped out. So I got this at Lowe's. Works pretty good. Let's see what we got in there. So I keep like kind of an assortment. Pink grapefruit seltzer. It's because I'm a fancy boy. It's pretty good. Try it. Don't knock till you try it. I also have some smelting cups. These are crucibles. Big crucible I haven't used yet. Little crucible I have. Thing's pretty sweet. It's silicon graphite, I think. It's made to withstand like 1,000,000 degrees. You could toss this into the sun and it would be fine. But anyway, I made a homemade forge, pan-in homemade forge. I'll have to roll in a couple of shots of this thing in action. This is great for melting. You can melt aluminum, you can melt copper, you can't melt steel. You probably could, it would take a really long time. One thing I would recommend to anybody building or setting up a shop, you know, you're definitely going to have your compressor. But anyway, plumb it to a hose reel. This thing has been invaluable. You know, you just pull out your hose, do your work, run your air tools, fill up your tires. When you're done, you just reel it back in. I've got some other randos on here, like old brake disc off of the old Husky. I don't know, random stuff. Fire or smoke detector that I should probably rig up eventually. Speaking of fire, another necessity to have in your garage is your fire extinguisher. I've got that one mounted to the bench just in case, you know, something happens right here, because this is usually where the chemicals and sparks are flying off the grinder. Chemicals might be chilling. You know, if you're kind of a bonehead like me, you start fires and then you can put them out. The bench, I mean, this is natural wood, but it's pretty discolored from flames, sparks, paint, whatever. I mean, you never know what's going to happen right here. It's a work surface. I've got a couple of spare fire extinguishers down there. These things, I'm fortunate in the field that I work in that I get some freebies from time to time. These are expired Halon aircraft fire extinguishers that you would normally find in a small aircraft. Every 8 years they expire, they need to be replaced. And so whoever is running the inventory show at the airfield where the plane lives is going to give these away to someone. And that someone in this case was me. Different types of bolts, carriage bolts. Just, I mean, if you're going to have a shop, this is one of my highly recommended items too, so you can get organized. I know by the looks of things in here, I'm not that organized, but believe me, I am somewhat organized. These are magnetic trays. You can see here's another one, same thing. These ones are empty for, you know, projects I'm doing out in the garage or in the driveway. This one holds my bits that I'm using, and then I keep all my magnetics, you know, my screwdrivers and stuff stuck right there. Last thing I guess that I have in here that I should probably mention, these little guys. These mouse traps. There's another one. There's another one behind you, behind the wheel there. I catch freaking mice in here all the time. We have kind of a rodent problem around here. I get pack rats in here. One time I came in and I had stuff. I had a project going on. I had parts and pieces and sockets and screws and bolts and nuts just scattered. But they were organized piles, you know. I had stuff going on. I was tinkering. Anyway, I came in one morning. and my bench was abnormally devoid of items. And I was like, what the heck's going on? Finally, I went to go find something that I needed, and I knew I had put it on my bench and it was gone. And I was like, what the heck's going on? So I had suspected that there was a pack rat in here, and I didn't have the big trap set out for him. And so I tore this place apart. Luckily, everything in here is on wheels. But anyway, so I wheeled everything out, found that wascally widow rodent. I ended up killing him. Sorry, animal lovers, you know, I'm an animal lover too, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Anyway, this guy had to go. But he had packed all kinds of bolts and nuts and screws, and he had sockets and screwdrivers. He had like big tools down in these holes of the cinder block foundation for the garage walls. And I don't know what he was building down there, but he was building something awesome. He was collecting parts of mine to put together something, probably a bomb to blow my ass up. So luckily I caught him in time, and I'm fine. So I guess it's time to actually work on a project and stop screwing around in my garage. Let's get her done.